This is Lansdowne Roar, the voice of the fans. Coming up, with the current state of Ireland's defensive options, could James McClean see a recall? Plus, former Republic of Ireland manager Martin O'Neill hits out at ageism, and we take a look at how our boys in green got on across the water. It's Lansdowne Roar. David Dunn here, joined by Martin Prendergast, who finally returns after leaving me on my own for the last week. And as always, if you like what you see, you love what you hear, scan that QR code, head over to our Facebook, Instagram, and our Twitter. And if you want an opinion, head over to lansdowneroar.ie. That is lansdowneroar.ie. And if you want to buy us a coffee, head over to coffee. It's in the link down below. And support the page. Give us a few bob, you know what it's all about. Anyway, Martin, congratulations. You are back. You left me on my own for a week, as I previously said. I felt like calling social services at one point. I actually felt really abandoned by you, Martin.
Oh, Dave, geez, I'm very saddened to hear that. No, look, I was in a beautiful part of the world, actually, Portugal. I was on pre-season camp for me, Dave. Struggling after a long season. You have to refresh and spend a bit of time at one of them, warm training camps. That's warm weather training camps. That's it, isn't it? So I went to the campus in Quinta del Lago, and I spent a bit of time in the company of lots of celebs and stuff. Ex-players all around there. Ran into John Terry the other day. Told him to be careful about the slippy floor there because he's got a bit of history on that. And Lampard was around. Roy Keane was drinking tea in a restaurant where I was. Well, I was told he was. Someone said to me, "I'm surprised he only didn't have 2 pints." Roy Keane, and I was thinking he doesn't drink. But no.
Leaping to his defense there, Martin.
And I did. I was on Roy watch. I wasn't going to harass him if I did come across him, although maybe he knew I was in town and avoided me. But lovely part of the world. And yeah, on a football escapes trip with Keane, took part in football camp every day. Really good, well set up. And Jolyon Lescott, the new interim assistant England coach under Lee Carsley's stewardship. He was there leading the one of the ambassadors of Football Escapes. Very nice guy, very quiet guy though. I actually noticed Football Escapes didn't eat only just yesterday on their socials congratulated him on being the interim England assistant coach. They hadn't seemed to realise. Nobody kind of knows about his kind of profile. He likes to go very much under the radar, and yeah, nice guy. I managed to get a photo of Keane with an Ireland shirt on, and I didn't wish him luck in the upcoming course, but
put him down the stairs, did you?
See you in Dublin. See you in Dublin, mate.
Right,
nice trip.
See you in Dublin. I just have this image of you squaring up with him in the staircase. See you in Dublin. Yeah. Trying to stitch a loaf. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, glad to have you back, Martin. So,
yeah.
But unfortunately, it's not all good news. As we're gonna talk, we're gonna actually bring in a new segment into the podcast. We're bringing it home, Martin. We're bringing back our boys in green. We're going to take a look at how our boys in green got on across the water.
Yeah, I enjoy this, Dave. It keeps us updated with where the Irish players are and who's in form, and then it promotes your intense negativity about the squad. Spoiler alert.
Yes, well, Martin's on about me going off on one in the group chat yesterday with Connor over at Republic of Ireland Player Tracker. By the way, give him a follow on Facebook and Twitter. But yes, and I think, Martin, after you see the state of the squad, you'll understand why. Right, we'll crack on. Here we go. So we're going to start off with the goalies. Not really a lot to see here. Here we are in goal. Didn't want to say goalie on it. Come on. Caoimhín Gallagher, an unused sub, Liverpool's 2-0 win over... who are you playing as? Kalamazoo is still injured for Southampton. It might be out till Christmas. And Mark Travers, an unused sub again for Bournemouth. Apparently, he is linked with Blackburn. Who would it be? Christ, I've gone blank. Brentford.
Jesus, there you go. Finger on the pulse.
Sorry. A roaring return for OBIG on the pod. Right. Now, this is where I don't know whether to leave this to last. The defenders.
No, go in order. Go in order for the team. Yeah, just on the goalkeepers though. A lot of speculation about Mark Travers made a great save as well in one of the games I saw early start of the season. But Yep. Look, Kelleher needs to get a move, I think. But he's in pole position to be number one. So for the England game, obviously, we're presuming his injury.
Yeah. I mean, also Liverpool are going after Georgi Mamardashvili. I don't know, Georgian goalkeeper anyway, but he's going to go back out on loan and he won't join the club until next year. So that sounds to me, Martin, that Queenie's going to spend another year at Liverpool, which I don't think is going to benefit him. To be honest, sitting on the bench, he's he's 20. How old is he?
25.
25. I just came up there, didn't I? Yeah, he's 25. So he'd be 26 then before he, becomes a number one somewhere. Apparently, it was a not Brentford, sorry, Wolves and Bournemouth. Connor was saying that he's linked with. I mean, Bournemouth have Neto. That he was captain yesterday, Neto. And Connor was saying that he's not popular with the fans for whatever reason. Neto, they wanted Travers to play instead of him. And of course, Wolves are in absolute free fall at the moment, which we're going to talk about in a second. So, not a glowing amount of options for Keller. He is a Premier League goalkeeper, by the way. He's a Premier League standard goalkeeper. I don't think we really missed a beat with him last season when he took over from Alisson. Had a little bit of a wobble against United in the cup game, if I remember correctly. But other than that, I thought you. Yeah, I bet you do. It's probably on DVD, is it? But yeah, no, like I thought it was. I thought he showed he's a Premier League standard goalie.
Yeah. No, without doubt. And I mean, look, he's from the. It reminds me a little bit like Alan Kelly, Paki Bonner kind of thing. Good goalkeepers are coming in, rotating. But I mean, he's got a massive opportunity now to cement the number one. But he does need to play because it's just that match sharpness, and that will be a big thing that is going to be relevant coming into this England game now. That the form goalkeeper is actually Mark Travers, but doesn't play as well as I think Keller has to play.
Well, he hasn't played at all.
No, I know that's what I'm saying. Yeah, but
like none of them have.
Like none of them have. Yeah, like no, Max O'Leary is the one who has actually
Bristol,
made some good saves and stuff. So, I think he, we did bring in 4 keepers into the last squad, didn't we? I think did we bring in a League of Ireland goalkeeper as part of it?
Talbot, maybe?
Was it? Or Talbot? Yeah, I'm not sure. If only you'd done your research, Dave. But
that's League of Ireland.
You follow the League of Ireland, Dave.
Nah, I stay clear of League of Ireland.
Yeah,
nothing against it. I don't know anything about it.
But yeah, that's where we are with it. And that's where we're going to have to look at like who's going to be number one. It will be Kelleher just by default, in a sense.
Not by default, because he's the best goalkeeper. Anyway, we're going to move on to the defense, and this is where we really shine, Martin. Our defenders. Seamus Coleman still out, although apparently is due back over the next couple of days, thank God. Matt Doherty, 90 minutes in a 6-2 loss for Chelsea. 8 goals in 2 games they've conceded. Jacob Bryan, unused sub, must be regretting that move to Everton, especially after yesterday. Shane Duffy, 90 minutes in a 1-1 draw with Sheffield United for Norwich. Dara O'Shea, not in the squad. He was completing a move to Ipswich Town. So hopefully he'll be back playing again. Andrew Amabamidele, an unused sub for Nottingham Forest, has not played a minute of the Premier League so far. Liam Scales, 90 minutes in a 3-0 win over St Mirren for Celtic. And the Stevens, not in the squad for Stoke City. His days must be numbered. Robbie Brady, not in the squad for Preston. New manager there, Paul Heckenbottom. Maybe he doesn't fancy him, I don't know. John Egan, unattached and injured as well, I believe. Mark McGuinness just completed a move to Luton Town. He played 90 minutes and 1-0 loss to Preston North End. Nathan Collins actually had a decent game against Liverpool yesterday in a 2-0 loss for Brentford. Ryan Manning has not featured in a Southampton squad this season so far. Vessi Abaselli has not played a minute of Serie A for Udinese. And Jimmy Dunn, 90 minutes in a 1-1 draw against Plymouth Argyle for QPR. Just on the Ryan Manning situation there, has not featured in the squad. And the last game I believe he played, although you won't find on the trackers, was as a central defensive midfielder in a 2-0 loss to Oxford United in pre-season. And he says he'll play anywhere, but the manager clearly doesn't fancy him. Just now, this is obviously people are going to go, hold on, what about the whole James McClean thing that you said you said at the top of the podcast? Are you clickbaiting again? Well, no, it's an opinion. And Martin, I said to you off air that my opinion is that James McClean is probably going to find himself back in the Ireland squad due to just the paucity and the dearth of options that we have. Would you agree with that?
I think it's very, very possible because he's now captain at Wrexham. He's got an extended contract there. He's going to be playing week in, week out. I don't know if that's going to be as important to Heimer, our new gaffer, that they do actually play these players, because it doesn't look good reading there as you've just gone through the defence. None of them are really playing. None of
No.
them are going to be match sharp. Um, he's not going to be able to come out and say you need to be playing for your club to be part of my plans, because we haven't had that luxury with our players, unfortunately. He could well be back in there. I think we know what we're going to get with him. And it's Irish football, and nutty things happen. So I think that's a very, very possible outcome, that he might be part of the Irish squad, even
I,
though he's been retired. It could be Glenn Whelan 2.0.
well, I just want to talk about the state of Ireland's defence at the moment. So the players that are playing regularly in centre back, right? Nathan Collins, Shane Duffy, Dara O'Shea. Now he didn't play. Obviously, he was completing a move to Ipswich. Liam Scales, Jimmy Dunn, and Mark McGuinness. Jimmy Dunn is uncapped. So is Mark McGuinness, right? Then a right back, our only consistent playing right back is Matt Doherty, who's conceded 8 goals in 2 Premier League games, although Connor said he had a good game. Not from what I saw, Connor, but anyway, and I did say about Matt Doherty last night in the text. I'm sure you didn't read, Martin, but I said he was a luxury player, or in his mind, he's a luxury player. He, for the sixth goal that they conceded yesterday, basically bombed forward. Don't know if he lost possession or he failed to get possession. Anyway, he was caught out of position, strolled back, boom, they scored. And that's what he does. And you can't have that in an Ireland team. You need everybody working together. You need everyone going forward and tracking back together. So he won't do, in my opinion. Left back of regular players is Robbie Brady, who didn't play in the last game. Now, they have a brand new manager, Preston North End, Paul Heckenbottom. Now, it could be a case that Brady has played the previous 2 games in the championship. He hasn't completed 90 minutes. I don't think he has played as a left wing back. But it could be a case that Paul Heckenbottom doesn't fancy him, or maybe he's just, he can't play 4 games consistently. I don't know what the situation is there. It could be a new manager. Who knows? Callum O'Dowda, your mate, has played 3 games so far as a left wing back for Cardiff, although has played in the defence, has conceded 8 goals in 3 games. They've lost 2 and drawn 1. They had a very late equaliser yesterday to Swansea in the South Wales or the Wales Derby, whatever you want to
Scored
call
by
it.
Callum Robinson.
Callum Robinson, yeah, we'll get to him. But yeah, so there are only 3 left backs that are playing regularly, right? And they're not actual left backs. Not playing centre backs. We've spoken about Jacob Ryan hasn't played a minute, even though Michael Keane is getting minutes over him. And basically, Everton have already, by the way, Paddy Power have already paid out, and Everton been relegated after 2 games. And you saw the abuse they were getting at Euston Station. I presume it was Euston Station yesterday. That's where you normally get the train from London to Liverpool, or the day before that was coming out there getting dogs abuse. Obviously, no name that Jacob Ryan hasn't played a minute. It's not his fault. But yet again, why isn't he getting game time? Andrew Amabomadeli has not played a second for Forest. That is a mental club. John Egan, he doesn't have a club, and I believe he's recovering from injury. Our right backs that aren't playing, Seamus Coleman, injured, but he is due back this weekend apparently. Festi Ebiselli has not played a minute for Udinese. Left back, Enda Stevens hasn't played a second. Ryan Manning, as we've spoken about. It's not very good, Martin, is it? We're in a very, very bad way defensively.
We are with injuries and not playing, of course, yeah. But a lot of these players would have done their pre-season. I'm not probably concerned as you. I think what we're going to do is John O'Shea is going to be a key part of the backroom staff, as we know. They're going to be very, very compact and organised when they set up to play England. We've got to prepare that way now. We've got to be difficult to beat, and I think you will have players there who can come in. Like, for example, I don't think it really matters that Jacob Ryan's not played for Everton yet. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. He's just gone to a new club. This is why I hate the transfer window dripping into the season start, because you've got people like Dara O'Shea who score for Burnley and then they're transfer linked and then they're not playing, and they've got to transition and move into a new area perhaps, or to a new and to thinking about all the things with family life and everything like that. I think we have to give players the benefit of the doubt with that. It's hard to settle in. Lots is going on for them to actually find their their place at clubs. And I'm thinking about in the background, if you've got kids, you've got to settle them to school that's coming up next
Yeah,
week.
yeah, yeah.
I know that kind of stuff. I think it is relevant to footballers. We kind of forget that sometimes. But, he's a professional. He's going to go in there. Um, I think I'm not too worried about it, as probably you are. I think we will just set up very, very defensively. I think Robbie Brady's got a bit of a knock, as far as I know. Um, I think we will just pick a very solid defense who will just
Well, it depends
sit
what he
in
wants to
and not
do.
be expansive. I
Is he
don't
going
think
to go?
we'll spend expansive in this game. I
But
don't
is he
think
going
we
to?
can
Is he
afford
going?
to against England.
Is he going to go with a flat back four? Or is he going to go with three to back? Two wing backs. We don't have a wing back. We don't have any wing backs at
No,
all.
but he'll play what he's got. He'll play with probably a flat back four and two in midfield holding, and just be very, very compact and difficult to break down,
I'm.
and probably with a better pace up front to kind of break away.
I don't know because O'Shea. There's talk that Shea's going to play a massive role in who gets picked because he was there before. It's that's not uncommon. I remember Jack did that, didn't he? In his first game, he got
Yeah.
McBurn to pick the first team because he knew the players. I mean, if he, I don't know. I have this weird feeling that he's going to go with a wing back system, even though we don't have wing backs, and he's probably going to recall James McClean. Now, if he was going to play a wing back system, I'd understand why you'd get in someone like James McClean. He's playing regularly. He's still fit as a fiddle. He's physical. His crossing is quite good. Um, although he is 34, and he'll be up for this game. Competitive match against England Saturday evening, 5 o'clock kickoff. Still a lot of time. There's still a lot of time to build a nice atmosphere through liquid means, shall we say? And that's why I think he's going to go with it. I think he's going to go to wingback system, which I think would be madness. I would go for 4-5-1 myself. I would just go to inhibit England because look, I think there's enough in this squad to develop a system, to develop a style of play, to get results. I just think it's too soon, too much too quick. Obviously with England, they're an unknown entity with the new manager coming in as well, with his new staff. So maybe we'll catch. It's a great, and the players might not be as focused because they're probably going to be focused on their club form. European football will have come into, will be just around the corner. Champions League, that kind of thing. So I don't know. It could be a good time to play them, but I think we're in serious. You say I'm very worried. We got a 35-year-old right back, Seamus Coleman, who's a great servant, who's now his body now is starting to break down a bit. He's 35. You got Matt Doherty, who's a luxury player who doesn't play as a team member. He just does his own thing, and in his mind, he's a luxury player. We don't have any left backs. Centre back, we're okay. I think. You probably go with O'Shea and Collins. Central defence. I wouldn't have Duffy anywhere near the side, but he's probably going to get in through default. I'd give Jimmy Dunn or I give Mark McGuinness a shout. To be honest with you, they're uncapped though. I just think we're in serious trouble, Martin. I really, it's going to take a hell of a team talk.
No, I think it's not that. It's not that. It's the limited time. It comes back, and it sounds like FAI bashing, but look, we left it too late to appoint a manager.
Of course we did.
This game is, for me, I'm not saying it doesn't matter, but this is, you're not going to learn an awful lot about Heimer and what his long term plans are with
No.
this. This is, him coming in now as the number one manager. John O'Shea, we've got that kind of continuity from him being involved there, and they'll play on what a good manager at any level can set up to not concede and be tight and compact and be difficult to break down. And those players, even you mentioned, the 35-year-old Coleman, if you're asking him to do a particular job, he will do it. And so will Matt Doherty. They're professional footballers at the end of the day. They can be disciplined enough to do that. And that's what I think they'll do. I think we will
Coleman,
have a
yes.
plan for, no, I think we'll have a plan for, like, to kind of just, where are we going to be a threat? And it's going to be very limited. It's going to be from set pieces as usual. And it will be from probably counter attacks,
feeding off scraps.
Breakaway. Yeah, it will be that. And
Feeding off
yeah,
scraps.
the hustle and bustle kind of thing, being competitive. But you've got a danger then if you go the one player up front. I mean, I think Adam Eder will start up front. I mean, we'll come on to the forwards in a minute. But
yeah.
what I'm saying about that is, you can be very isolated, and I think he is disciplined enough to do that. I think you can be very compact, and then you build off like that spine of the team. But
well,
yeah, I'm not too. I think defensively, even though they haven't played an awful lot, they can come in and they can be compact, and they've they're experienced. They
All
are
right.
like Jake O'Brien. I think will be a big threat, and I think I'd have him in there with Nathan Collins probably. Darragh O'Shea could be free them at the back, and then but near enough five in defensively. The left side's a problem that we've got to solve, and we're not going to be able to
Massive
solve it in
problem.
2 weeks. Not going to
Massive
solve it in
problem.
2 weeks. That's the
No,
thing.
no. It's going to be makeshift anyway. We'll crack
Mm.
on. We've gone on about the defense or lack
Yeah,
thereof. Let's get to the midfield, where it really shines. Lovely graphics, those.
yeah, they are.
Mark Sykes, 78 minutes in a 1-1 draw with Coventry for Bristol City. Mikey Johnson still injured, I believe, for Celtic after that concussion on the first game of the season. Will Smallbone, cousin Will, 84 minutes in a 1-0 loss against Nottingham Forest for Southampton. Colin Dowda, 90 minutes in a 1-1 draw for Swansea, or against Swansea as a wing back. Jamie McGrath, 88 minutes in a 2-0 win over Kilmarnock for Aberdeen. Jason Knight, 90 minutes in a 1-1 draw with Coventry against Bristol. Finn Azaz, 90 minutes and an assist in a 2-2 draw with Portsmouth for Middlesbrough. Josh Cullen, injured and very likely to be missing the England game. Jason Malumbi, 86 minutes in a 2-1 win over Stoke for West Brom. Alan Brown makes his return, 18 minutes, 1-0 win over Burnley for Sunderland. Marcus Harness, 18 minutes in a 4-1 loss for Man City. For Ipswich, Andy Moore, 30 minutes in a 2-1 loss for West Brom for Stoke City. And Jack Taylor with 18 minutes in a 4-1 loss to City over Ipswich Town. Josh Cullen, obviously the massive talking point there, Martin. He is likely going to miss the Ireland game. Well, that's according to his manager anyway. Yeah, again, midfield, it's not. Well,
No, it's not. It's not good.
It's not good at all, is
And
it?
this is again a problem. Like if you can sit in defensively, what you're doing in midfield, you do need probably two holding midfielders in there. I think Malumbi will come into it.
Could Malumbi
Playing.
be the bastard that Heimer Helgrimson and actually to touch on bastards, and I mean this with all, the greatest amount of respect, of course. There's talk maybe if he's looking for that, maybe McClean would come into that category in terms of being aggressive, physical on the pitch, and Jason Malumbi. They're probably our two most aggressive players that we have at our disposal.
Yeah, those two are the ones. If you kind of expect someone to kind of give a Reckner is the old phrase. I'm showing my age
Producer?
there, but that was reducer. That's it. Yeah.
Reckner.
Reckner is one as well. No.
Sound like a biblical term there.
But yeah. No, but that's the kind of players who that first challenge, you win that physical battle, and you show you're in a game. So I think them two definitely have that about them. And yeah, it's just Cullen will be a big loss for that link up between the defense and the midfield, of course. But I keep talking about just sitting in and being defensive and hard to break down, and I think that's where his discipline would be. We talk about the limitations of Cullen of going forward, breaking out on getting the ball in a half turn. That kind of player where he is, he's limited with that, I think. Whereas here now, this is actually what he's brilliant at doing, breaking up that play, that Glenn Whelan kind of stuff, doing the dirty work, winning the ball, getting it to our more creative attacking players. So he would be a massive loss in there. And I think Malumbi is one who can come in and do a job. Is he disciplined enough? Can he hold his head? James McClean's the same. You can get carried away with it. You think McClean now with his maturity in years should be a bit more mature on the pitch and not let the occasion get to him. But you could see kind of, I think the fact it's at in Dublin, the first game will help that because it was at Wembley and he goes through straight away. A little bit like Welcome to Dublin by Roy Keane on Overmars back in the day. That kind of thing. The crowd are back up. He's that character, isn't he, in our team? Like Stephen Hunt was as well. Used to get the opposition's fans.
Yeah, you don't want him doing a Stephen Hunt and getting sent off.
No, exactly. You don't. That's what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
you do have to be disciplined, and I think that's what they'll be urging there. But yeah, I'll come on to my thoughts later on about the game because I think you're saying about England and where they are and stuff. I think they're going to win this Nations League anyway. This is a chance for Carsley to kind of get some ideas across in a short time as well. But I think this is a pre-season friendly. Is how they're treating it. That this could be an absolute dead rubber, like nothing.
We'll talk about that in a second, and we'll move on to the attackers. So Adamaida got 59 minutes in a 3-0 win over St. Mirren. Celtic. Sammy Smodics made Man City angry with his goal, and he got 72 minutes in a 4-1 loss. Michael Obafemi, 27 minutes in a 1-1 draw for QPR. Obviously, he's now at Plymouth. Troy Parrott got 84 minutes in a 0-0 draw with FCG for AZ Alkmaar. Tom Cannon not in squad, linked with Sheffield United. Hopefully he gets moved there. Evan Ferguson still injured, but apparently should be back for England. Alec Benny over there, 67 minutes in a 1-0 loss against Preston. Callum Robinson, 73 minutes and a goal in a 1-1 draw against Swansea for Cardiff. And Will Keane, 73 minutes and a goal in a 1-0 win over Luton Town for Preston. Aaron Connolly linked with Hull and Celtic. Still no sign where he's going to go. And Sinclair Armstrong, 62 minutes in a 1-1 draw with Coventry for Bristol City. I had to say, I thought Sammy took his goal very well. Bit of a scuff finish in the end, but it was enough to beat Edison. He just made them angry, didn't he? They just welcome to the Premier League. I mean, to be fair, Ipswich did. I had a row with Connor over this as well. I was around a lot with Connor actually over the weekend, but yeah, I thought Ipswich were so bad. They just made 4 stupid mistakes, didn't they? It could have been 7 or 8-1. I mean, I think City hit the woodwork like 3 times in the first half. But he took his goal well. Lovely ball, nice run. You know, he found space, didn't he? Like a proper striker's goal. He is our great white hope at the moment, isn't he?
Oh, without doubt, yeah. Like he's the one we're all, and hoping that it's going to be a very important player for us in the Nations League and obviously the next qualification campaign. But I think it without being negative, then you're thinking, geez, where was he? You know, why did we wait so long to get him into the squad and play him? Yeah, look, we have attacking threat. We've got some injuries at the moment. It's the worst time of the year. Obviously, just start the season. They're playing within their squads. They're now, you don't want to get injured. If you've got a slight knock now, I think we'll see withdrawals from definitely the England squad. I think we'll see for different reasons. And I think Ireland, I'd like to see them all meet up in the camp and present themselves and hear from the manager. I think that's going to be very important. I don't care if he calls up. I think what you'll see is happen is they'll call up a very, very big squad, and even the players on the periphery. This is what I would do. The ones who are injured as well, I would get them in because you need to hear from our new manager. He's not an interim anymore. He's our new manager. You get over to your asses over to Dublin, and you hear what my plans are of how we're doing this. And okay, you can't play in this one, but we want you part of the background.
So yeah, because he couldn't even have a summer camp, could he?
Couldn't do anything. So that's how far behind we've fallen. So help him. I think, and that's going to show who, get the players. Hopefully, they get released from their clubs to do that, and that's explained by the FAI or whoever it has to be. We've heard about John O'Shea being around the lots of the grounds, watching games. Lee Carsley, of course, as well, was doing the same job for England now. But we want to. I think it's very important to get them in, even if they're injured. Even if, for example, Evan Ferguson, there's no chance of him playing in this game, but he should be over there meeting up with the squad, doing the whole work in the background.
Well,
I'm not
we don't
worried about the game.
Well, according to Connor, he reckons he is.
No, I'm just saying, though, just an example. If he can't, even if you're 100% ruled out of the game, right?
No, I'm just saying, Evan Ferguson isn't ruled out. Josh Cullen is a huge doubt, but Evan Ferguson isn't ruled out. Sorry, I just want to clear that.
Yeah, but I think if you are 100% ruled out, right, I think you need to be over in Dublin anyway to hear and have the presentation from the coaching staff. This is our plan going forward. This is what we're doing. This is what you were working on with John O'Shea and what the ideas were. Now you go forward, and this is what I'm the new manager.
This is, I mean, this game against England is, he is really going to have to pull the team together, squad together. It's not ideal. I think regardless what happens, look, if we beat England or get a positive result, we'll obviously put a positive spin on it. That's what we do. But if we get done 3-0 or 2-0 or outclassed, outplayed, you can't really blame the manager too much. You'd have to, the blame would have to lay squarely at the feet of the FAI. They've applied him far too late. Couldn't have any sort of summer camp. Previous managers have had camps. They've had time to prepare. He hasn't. As you say, get the lads in. You're playing a quality side in England. You're probably going to be a bit more adventurous going forward now with a new manager if Carsley's going to implement his style that he implemented from the under-21s. Although you don't know what they're going to do either. But I think you have to be fair to the manager. But he's really going to have to rely on the unit. And I think he's spoken about that because we don't have an outstanding player. Not really. Could be Evan Ferguson in a couple of years' time if he stays injury free and doesn't go on loan to Brentford. Jesus. Did you hear about that? Brentford apparently are going after him. Oh no.
Yeah.
No. No, stay Brian and then go to a top club. Don't do a Kevin Doyle where he was linked with top clubs and then he ended up going to Wolves under Mick. Really? But anyway, that's a story for another day. But but the manager's really going to have to rely on his collective thinking because it's going to require for me a monumental task to get something out of to get something out of this game. It can be done. You keep it simple. Don't do anything stupid. You get the crowd on the side, like I don't know, a reducer on Declan Rice or something by Jason Malumbi. No, I'm just joking. But something like that. Get the crowd on side, as you said. Welcome to Lansdowne Road. Get the crowd on side because I think this England team would not fancy a fervent Lansdowne Road. They're not very strong mentally. We saw that during the Euros. A bit of criticism came their way, and they were flapping around the place. I think you could get at it. It's the only way you're going to get at them, and you could get something out of this game. But it's going to require. It's a huge ask anyway. But
we've seen Pickford as well. You put a bit of pressure on him. Look at the goal he conceded against Tottenham the other day.
Yeah.
So that kind of thing is getting his head perhaps. But Bellingham out for them is a loss.
Yes.
But I mean they're very, very talented, and it's going to be interesting to see their squads and then the withdrawals from their squad. But I'm looking forward to it. We'll obviously chat about it as the build up the next few weeks, and what our predictions will be, especially when we know the squads.
Well, yes, and speaking of which, Martin, the squad is announced this Thursday. We'll be live for that, live 10:30. We will be live on Facebook, YouTube, and 3 Twitter channels, Roar, Road, and Republic of Ireland Player Track. We might have Connor on board for that. Just depends if we get this whole webcam sorted, doesn't it, Martin? High production standards here at Lansdowne Roar. But yes, we will be live for that. And we will be over at the game, at the 2 games actually in September. England at home on the 7th and Greece at home on the 10th. We will be live for those as well. Right, we're going to move it on to the next and final topic, Martin, before we go. And friend of the pod, Martin O'Neill. He is in the news again. There he is this morning, James Agnew, friend of the pod, fantastic writer. And by the way, if you want to read some of his stuff, he's got some cracking articles. Head over to lansdowneroar.ie. That is lansdowneroar.ie. But he has shared this piece here from Belfast Live. And it's about Martin O'Neill, giving out about ageism. Ex-Celtic boss Martin O'Neill craves return despite ageism claim. This is what he had to say. Speaking on the Football Authorities podcast, the Kilree native said, "I've absolutely missed the game. I think that will always be the case, regardless of what age I am." He added, "I think that people are looking for younger ones, younger managers, younger coaches, and coaches as distinct from being a manager. When I was a manager, I actually managed a football club. I'll never forget when I went to Celtic." You played for Ryan Clough as well, Martin. Dermot Desmond, who was the major shareholder of Celtic at the time, said, "I want you to take ownership of the club. I want you to run it from top to bottom." At 72, O'Neill doesn't believe age should be a factor in his ability to manage at the highest level of the game. However, he did rule out a return to international football. This is what he had to say. "No, I don't feel it. I absolutely don't," he said, on age being a factor. "I mean, I'm past 70 now at this minute, but I feel as if I'm about 36 years of age. But I think now that maybe that's a real cop-out is international management. 15, 20 years ago, international management seemed to be for the older gentleman, the one who's done his time at club level. But I came back into club football after managing the Republic of Ireland and had a roaring success." He added, "I think this is the one thing that I would want to stress, is that I feel that something that is level to the older manager now is the fact that he is unable or willing to pick up the new trends going through football." And it was absolutely untrue. That would not be the case. And that wouldn't be the case with any of the great managers. God almighty. What do you make of that? Jesus Christ.
Look, it's a podcast, Dave. A lot of nonsense is spoken on podcasts. No,
Hasn't for the last couple of weeks, Martin. To be fair, pure clarity the last
especially,
couple of weeks.
especially,
But anyway,
um, no, yeah, look, he's been relevant again. It's all trying to be and being asked on those questions. I kind of get where he's coming from, but I think the game, as football generally has moved on, no manager comes in now and gets to take charge of the whole club. So that's not relevant to go on about Dermot Desmond, which is over 20 years ago now that ever happened. Um, Even managers, club football now, you've got directors of football over you. You've got people making transfer decisions for you. That's never going to happen. He would be more suited to international football again, I think, but bringing in the right coaches with him. But I think, look, his options are very limited. He was high on every betting list, wasn't he, for any job for years when
mm.
Man United were looking. England, he was like the next England manager in waiting often, and he's been overlooked now. Like, he's not a modern coach. He's not been working with modern coaches, you know.
And he won't work with
So
modern coaches either.
no, he won't, and that's the thing, 2016 was amazing in so many ways, but Roy Keane's not in the game now. I don't know what Steve Guppy's really doing, who was his kind of winger coach back then.
Or Seamus
You know, he
McDonough.
yeah, he's not built that kind of younger team or refreshed, and that's what you have to do as you go forward as an older coach now, like an older manager. Like,
Well,
you
look,
think of Alex Ferguson did it with,
yeah.
Brian Kidd moved on, then he got in the number one coach. You can tell I've been reading a lot about Man United on my holidays, but no, he went. They'd done all their due diligence. It was between Steve McLaren at that time in '99 and also David Moyes, right? And the main player, all their due diligence came back to who's the number one coach in this country, and it was Steve McLaren at that time. So, you know, Martin O'Neill's not working with anyone or of note. You do have to move with the times, and it's up and coming coaches who do their badges, and
All
yeah, they're
coaches.
well connected, but it's
Like,
gone for him now, I
he's
think.
talking about managing a football club. It doesn't work like that anymore.
No, no.
Doesn't work like that anymore. Like, I mean, you've got social media teams. You've got you got so many layers now to a football club. There's so many layers to it,
Mm. But
and it,
sorry, go on, I
it,
mean, yeah.
it's not like he's. What annoys me about him, right? Because I know what's going to happen. There's going to be a comment here because it happened last time I was giving out about Martin O'Neill. What's his podcast got against Martin O'Neill? Martin O'Neill, it's shit like that. Is what I've got a problem with, right? Alex Ferguson retired when he was 74, didn't he?
Mm.
74, right? Probably the greatest manager of all time. Probably. He was cute enough, as you said, he got the number one coaches. By the time he retired, he had Rennie Mulstein and he had Mike Phelan running the team, coaching. He did the team talk. He was cute enough to stand back and go, right, you know all the modern stuff. I know how I want my teams to play. I'll do the management stuff. I know now I've got to the stage where I am absolutely like a godlike figure in football. Players will want to come to play for me. Players will listen to what I have to say, but you do the nitty gritty stuff on the training pitch, right? And that was smart. Arsene Wenger was at the forefront of modern football coaching at the beginning, but at the end he was caught in the flow. He was complete. He was gone. He because he couldn't move on. Brian Clough, the same. Same with Martin O'Neill. It's just he still thinks that he's at the forefront of modern coaching, that he's still cutting edge in his mind, and he hasn't been able to make do with the fact that the world has changed, the game has changed, everything has changed, and you've got to change with it. He stunk the place out. He went to Forest, and he
Mm.
absolutely stunk the place out at Forest. I don't think he's had another job. He said I went straight into club management. Like, and yet again he goes on about international management. Oh no, no, no. I'm sure he wrinkled his nose when he said it as well. And the way he talks about the Ireland job, that's what drives me mad. They didn't accept me. They didn't accept me. No, that's bollocks. Absolute bollocks that he wasn't accepted. And he admitted this as well on the White and Jordan podcast, that he probably didn't have the best attitude towards the Irish press. He didn't. His nose was so far in the air towards the Irish press. So what you expect? He looked
Mm.
down on them when he was talking to his mates in the English media. Oh, it was all completely different. It was all smiles and grins. No, I don't like him. I'm sorry, I don't like him. And he just comes out with his he just comes out with his utter fucking drivel. and I want to. Who is going to touch him in the first 3 tiers, in the top 3 tiers of English football?
Oh
Go
no,
to a
I don't think
non-league
anyone
team.
will. No, I think it's just no. I think it's over him now. I think he might come
Of
in as
course it
like
is.
unless an owner is swayed in a crisis that, geez, let's get a big name in here, and he'll bring in coaches and sells it like that. But or possibly an international. I can't think of an international team. It's not like he
I
was
just want to go
thinking
to
the
international
Jamaica
football,
job
Martin.
and go and do that. No, I
He's
know.
too good for international football.
Yeah, I just
Give
think.
over.
I think punditry is the thing he's going to do. But he's always had that kind of character
Oh,
of it. I think I will always appreciate what he did with Ireland. I think, but it just ran its course
he
that
was
time.
very lucky with Ireland. He was blessed with
Yeah,
Ireland,
but it
and
just
he was
it ran its
blessed with
course, and
Ireland.
it's never going to end well.
No,
Obviously, management people leave and get
he should
sacked
have gone.
because
He should have gone in 2017, right after the 5-1 drubbing. His heart wasn't in anymore, and he was flirting with Stoke. He was flirting with Everton, allegedly, according to the reports. And John Delaney, for whatever reason, still gave him the contract because, oh no, we can't lose this guy. He should have gone. Do you know what? You know what, Martin? We haven't signed anything here. You're looking over there. Don't worry about it. See you later. Your heart's not in it. We'll get someone else. Probably then you would have got Mick McCarthy in. And what people fail to remember is that we had the horrendous 2018, and we lost Jack Grealish the previous year, and we lost Declan Rice that year as well. And it was an awful camp. It was a toxic camp with him, bad cop and bad cop, or whatever way you want to put it. Him and Roy Keane absolutely ruining the place, and they did because they outstayed their welcome. His heart wasn't
it
in
had
it.
gone by that stage. And I think
Of course,
that modern that era of a coach and manager coming in and being able to do the quirky kind of mannerisms in the way of Brian Clough, that doesn't work. Like half our squad now wouldn't know who Brian Clough was. So
no.
and it comes across as disrespectful for the players. And yeah, we know that some of them are prima donnas and they're a bit precious and recovery days and I'm not training, I'm managing my
That's a
injuries, and that
modern
was something that
game.
that's the modern game. Yeah, I
You got
know
to move
that. Yeah,
on.
and you do have to adapt with that. It gets you so far of reputation.
Oh,
Like I think the only you've really got to earn that. Like Ferguson could come in now, well, not now, but like 10 years ago, probably could have come in and gone. Even if Ferguson came into a management role now, right, he would have that steam that, wow, it's
yeah.
Alex Ferguson. Everyone knows him. Bobby Robson had that when he came in at a late age with Newcastle. It inspired that the Geordie faithful and it joyed and those players with him, and it rescued that awful time where Ruud Gullit had messed it all up there. So it's incredible, really, thinking how football managers how they think of themselves in a way. Like I think Martin O'Neill does think a lot higher of himself than
They all
probably
do,
is
but
right.
it's like when you listen to Graham Souness, which is very difficult to listen to. Holy Jesus! And and I'm not a woke person, as you know, Martin. I'm not into all of that. But like, I mean, age doesn't define your ability. Your ability defines your ability, and sometimes age and a failure to move on affects your ability, and that's what Martin O'Neill has to get through his skull.
Mm.
Your unwillingness to move on with the game. You hear the stories. Who was it? Warnock, Stephen Warnock, talking about how the players at Aston Villa had to train the team. Ashley Young, he's
Yeah,
still
Milner.
playing.
Mm.
Somehow is still playing. I mean, he's dreadful now, but he's still a professional football at the age of 39, playing in the Premier League. Although he should be really, but he's still in top shape.
Yeah.
James Milner, training the team for Aston Villa because Martin O'Neill didn't want to do it. Matt Doherty, I'm not Matt Doherty's biggest fan, but even he came out and said we didn't really know what the tactics were. And you could tell by the way the Irish team played. Just pump it long
Yeah.
and see what happens. It's like we're back in the
I think he
70s or
lost
the
interest in
80s.
the end. Like we know that with
Of
like
course
Cyrus
he did.
Christie trying to do all that quirky rubbish. It was never going to work. That's when it was at the end. But
Cyrus Christie, go on,
he
you're going to play in midfield. What?
yeah, he's coming across as very
Bitter.
like just embittered and then very kind of like it just would have
Arrogance, yeah.
upset a lot of the squad. And I think that those days are gone now.
He's the world's most
Clubs,
sensitive man.
clubs, clubs and managers now, even international football, that's changed as we've seen with Ireland. They bring in a senior head coach. He walks out the door tomorrow. It doesn't all unravel below you, and it's still there's some continuity. That's the way
Yeah.
England are doing it. It's that director of football. You've got more people who are not business people making decisions rather than football people. It rubs up the wrong way. A number of old school managers, of course, but that's just the way it is now.
Yeah.
we complicate it. We're complicating football, and you have to just simplify it at times and say, and that's why I'm quite happy with this England game happening, because you've just got to keep it simple. They go in there, organise themselves defensively. That's your first thing. That's all you do. It's the other games is where I'm going to be judging Heimer. I'm not worried about this England game. This is a friendly.
No,
As long
no, I
as we
mean,
don't get an absolute hammering.
I'm
We
worried about the
we need to
result,
find players.
but
Yeah, I
this
think
game doesn't define the
no.
manager at all, because people will panic. Of course, I'm giving out about the state of the squad. I've every right to do that. I mean, it's there in black and white or green and white, but I'm not gonna start having to go to the manager or whatever if we do get a bit of a 3-0 hammering at home to a quality England side, because I can think and go, look, he hasn't had time. It's early in the season. He hasn't had a chance to prepare. He's been thrown in the deep end. Give the man a chance. But anyway, we're gonna before we go, Martin, you got a bit of news about the tickets?
So yeah, just about ticket news. Heard from the FAI. Anyone who is going to the England game and also the Tuesday game on against Greece, tickets will be made live now in the next few days on your Ticketmaster account. So you will be able to download them, and they're not going to be printable. You can't print them out at home. So I think that's probably a security thing. It will be show it on your phone rather than print it out, because I think that's where they're going to try and manage. People aren't selling tickets on to people who shouldn't be in certain sections of the stadium. So yeah, that's just some information, and
Wait till you
also
hear
the
your accent.
applications. Yep, and then the the applications for the away games, obviously Helsinki and Athens, they will be opening up at the end of this month as well, according to the FAI. So look out for that if you are an away match goer.
There you go.
How's your world,
Look,
Dave?
I am, and hopefully we'll be doing our podcasts, our streams live from all the stadiums for the remaining games. Just be confirmed, we will be live from Lansdowne Road next month. Just come through there, Matt. Just thought to say.
Oh, nice.
Very happy, man. But we will be live for all those games. We'll be streaming from you just before the match and just afterwards. Just after the final whistle. We're going to go now, but before we do, don't forget we have a live. The squad is announced this Thursday. We will be live at 10:30 this Thursday. Live YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. Have your say. Get involved. Tell us what you think of the squad. You're going to have an opinion. We want to hear it. We have opinions, as you can tell. I have mine. Most certainly, I'm not afraid to give it. But we're also not afraid to hear your opinion as well, and we want to hear from you guys, as always, especially what you think about my opinions of the squad, my opinion, and Martin's opinion of Martin O'Neill as well. Let's hear it. Say it in the comment section below, and we'll pick it apart in the next one, won't we, Martin? But anyway, listen, we're going to leave it there. Thank you very much, Martin. Thank you very much for watching at home. We will be back Thursday live 10:30, but for now, come on, you boys in green.